Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a little cook with me slash what I eat in a day video. So it is time for breakfast. I am trying to decide what to make. I got a couple new exciting things from the grocery store this week. I think I'm gonna have some toast. I got some really good bread from Trader Joe's this week and I'm really excited to try them out. So I got some sourdough, so I think I'm gonna do some avocado toast, and then I actually got this cinnamon raisin bread that I'm going to make as well. It's about 10:15. That's about normally when I would have breakfast, maybe a little earlier some days. I like to start my day with some water. I try to drink water as soon as I wake up in the morning, so the first thing going into my body is not coffee, because that's what I want to do most days, but that doesn't always make me feel the best. So I'll normally drink some leftover water from the night before, or I'll make me some warm lemon water. I've talked about lemon water a little bit on my Instagram page. I'm very passionate about it. It's so good for you. It makes me feel so good. So I'll normally drink like a little bit of lemon water and then have a cup of coffee. That's what I did this morning, and now I'm hungry and ready for breakfast. So I'm gonna get started making that and show you how I make my breakfast. Okay, so I'm gonna get together everything I need to make my toast. First, I'm doing avocado toast and then a little cinnamon raisin toast. I got this sourdough bread from Trader Joe's yesterday. It looks so good. I'm gonna use this for my avocado toast. And then I got this delicious looking cinnamon raisin bread. It's literally called cinnamon roll bread from Trader Joe's. And I literally cannot wait to use it. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is preheat my oven. I'm actually just gonna put it on broil. And then I have my cookie sheet here, and I'm gonna go ahead and set that down and put my bread on there and stick it in the oven. I like to toast it first and then put all the toppings on, and then toast it a little more at the end just so it's nice and hot. I'm just putting my bread down. I'm gonna do 2 pieces of each so that both William and I can have breakfast. This cinnamon raisin bread, look how good that looks. Bread going into the oven. Okay, while my bread is toasting in the oven, I'm gonna get everything prepped for the toppings. So for avocado toast, I always use avocado, some lemon, salt, pepper, and red pepper flakes. And I like to finish it off with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. So for the cinnamon sugar toast, I'm gonna do almond butter and a little bit of chia seeds on top. Here's my chia seeds. I get them from Whole Foods. You can get them lots of places, but chia seeds are so good for you, so I like to sprinkle them on things here and there. My bread is not quite toasted yet, so I'm gonna go ahead and start prepping everything to put on it. So I'm gonna slice my avocado. Okay, so I sliced my avocado in half. I'm just gonna slice my avocado. My bread was nice and toasted, so I went ahead and pulled that out. Okay, back to my avocado. Now I'm gonna take a little bit of lemon and just drizzle it over the top. And I'm gonna sprinkle some salt, some pepper. I'm going to mash this all up. Now I'm gonna take my mashed up avocado and put it on my bread. Okay, here's my avocado toast, just with the avocado spread out on top. And now I'm going to take the red pepper flakes, sprinkle a few on top. And I'm also gonna take my Parmesan cheese and sprinkle a little bit of that on top. So I have my cinnamon raisin bread ready to go, and I'm just gonna take my almond butter. So I get this almond butter from Whole Foods. It's fresh ground in-house. The ingredients are just almonds, and it's so good. The texture, I don't know if you can tell like what it looks like. It's really thick. So I'm gonna take some of that, and I'm actually just gonna put it on one piece of toast. I wanna try the other piece of toast just with some butter on it so I can really taste the bread. There's my almond butter. And like I said, this one I'm just gonna leave plain. Now I'm gonna take my chia seeds, just using my fingers. I'm gonna take a little handful and just sprinkle them all over this almond butter. Chia seeds don't really have a taste. They're easy to sprinkle on whatever, but they do have a little bit of a crunch, which I actually really like on things like toast. And I'm also gonna add a little sprinkle of cinnamon just to give it a little extra cinnamon delicious flavor. If I was using plain bread, I might drizzle a little bit of honey on top, but since the cinnamon raisin bread is probably already sweetened a good bit, I'm just gonna leave it just like this. Now I have some butter that I'm gonna put on top of this last piece of bread. I always like to use salted butter. So I'm just gonna put a nice big pat of butter on there, and then I'm gonna stick all this back in the oven and let everything warm up again before we eat. And here is the final product of our breakfast. Looks so good. The avocado toast and then the almond butter. Okay, it's time to give everything a try. This bread is so good. It's like crunchy on the outside from where I toasted it, but the middle is so soft. Now I'm gonna try the almond butter. That bread is so good. And with the almond butter, the chia seeds, the little bit of cinnamon. Now, just for our buttered cinnamon raisin toast. I put a lot of butter on that one. That was so good. Both so good. Both breads I'm obsessed with. Oh wait, I also wanted to talk about my orange juice. So, we try to have orange juice every day. That's like one of my #1 health tips. Also a really great tip to stay healthy while you're traveling is just get orange juice everywhere. That's like a rule we try to have when we travel places, is literally buy orange juice every morning for breakfast. I have a visitor. Can I say hello? You can't have my breakfast, but you can say hello. Oh, say hello to everyone. He just wants some toast. He wants some breakfast. But anyways, that's like my #1 travel health tip, is to get orange juice everywhere you go. Drink it every day, because a lot of times like we'll get sick when we travel just from being on a plane or being in a new environment, whatever. Drinking orange juice every day really helps us stay healthy when we travel, and we try to do that at home as well. So this is my orange juice for the day. We always buy Natalie's orange juice. It is literally the best kind. So I'm gonna sit here and enjoy my breakfast and be terrorized, and then I'll show you what we're gonna make next. Okay, so now that I'm done with breakfast, literally like the best toast of my life. It was so good. I'm moving on to the next thing I'm gonna be making, which is for my friend Abby, who just had a baby. I'm bringing her dinner for tonight, so I wanted to go ahead and prep it now because I'm bringing it this afternoon, and all they'll have to do is stick it in the oven and bake it. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep that. I'm also gonna prep dinner for me and William tonight. Making a veggie pasta bake, which is a recipe I've been making just for the last couple months. It's like a newer recipe that I kind of made up using some different ones I found online, but it's so good. It's like lasagna, but with like rigatoni noodles and veggies and just cheese on top. It's so good. It's a great pasta dish and a good way to pack in some veggies. So I'm going to start prepping that now, and I'll show you how I make it, because this is one of my favorite recipes. It's very easy. It's a great go-to. Okay, so first we're going to prep all of our veggies that go in this dish. So I use a bell pepper, onion, squash, zucchini, and some greens. So I'm going to start by washing and chopping all of my veggies. So I wanted to show you this really quick. This is the fruit and veggie wash I use. I get it from Trader Joe's. Okay, so now that my veggies are washed, I'm gonna start chopping them up. I also, if you noticed, I filled up a pot with water, so I started that boiling on the stove so that that could get going for our pasta while I chop all of our veggies. So I'm just gonna start dicing them into pretty small pieces. It's gonna be in the middle of all the pasta, so you don't want like giant chunks throughout. So I slice it pretty thin, and then I'll dice it up. Okay, so our veggies are all prepped and my water is boiling for the pasta, so I'm gonna grab the pasta. I normally use a rigatoni noodle, but I just went to Target and they were all out of rigatoni noodles, so I got this kind. It looks pretty much just like rigatoni, it just might be a little bit bigger. So I am doubling this recipe because I'm making it for both my friend Abby and for us. So I'm gonna use 2 bags of pasta. Normally I would just do 1. I also doubled the amount of veggies that I use because of that. So I did a squash, 2 zucchini, 1 bell pepper, 1 onion, and I'm gonna use about a whole container worth of spinach. Normally I would do probably about half that. One thing that I have recently started doing that people have always said to do is make sure you're salting your pasta water super heavily. And I've always just like, yeah, sprinkled in a little bit of salt, but lately I've been doing like a couple of teaspoons worth, and it is a game changer. Like, it totally enhances the flavor of your pasta. It starts your dish off with really great flavor. So if you have any takeaways from this video, just please use like a ton of salt the next time you make pasta, because I promise it makes a big difference. So I'm gonna salt my water. And you just want to cook this pasta until it's about al dente. So mine said between 12 and 14 minutes, so I'm doing 12. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to my veggies. So here they all are. I turned the stove on medium, and I'm just going to take my grapeseed oil and do a generous amount, probably a couple of tablespoons worth, since we do have a ton of veggies. So I just added in a teaspoon of salt, a bunch of pepper, a teaspoon of minced garlic, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a half a teaspoon of onion salt, and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. So now I'm just gonna stir this and let it saute until these veggies start to become nice and tender. Okay, so my veggies were mostly tender, so I added in all of my greens. Normally I would just do spinach, but I had a bunch of these super greens left over, so I decided just to throw them on in. So I'm gonna let those kind of wilt down. Take my spoon. Pasta's looking good, almost done. And I'm just gonna kind of start stirring all this and letting it all saute together. I always use Rao's homemade marinara sauce. It's my favorite pasta sauce. And I've got my noodles all cooked and done. Veggies sauteed. I tasted them too, and they taste very delicious. And then I'm actually making 3 different dishes. These are a little smaller, and then that's my dish right there, because I'm bringing some for my friend, like I said, and then I'm also gonna bring a dish for my mom. So that's kind of the setup I've got going on, and I'm just gonna kind of do an assembly line. I'll do sauce, and then pasta, and then veggies, and then just kind of go in that order: sauce, pasta, veggies. And then once your dish is full, we will top it with some cheese. You want the bottom layer to have the most sauce on it, because the rest of the pasta will kind of absorb it. And we are done for now. All that is left to do is put some mozzarella and Parmesan cheese on top and bake these. Hello everyone. So it is the next day. Basically, here's what happened. So last night I was just not feeling the veggie pasta bake. I went to the gym yesterday afternoon, and the gym is really close to Chick-fil-A. And the whole time I was just thinking about Chick-fil-A, and I was like, you know what? Chick-fil-A just sounds way better than my pasta that I made. Honestly, that is like my toxic trait. I always make food and then just don't want to eat it. I don't know, just something about making your own food just makes it seem less appealing. I don't know if anyone else is like that. When it comes to stuff that I make, I'll be like so craving a certain dessert or something like that, and then make it, and then I'm like, you know what, I don't even want this anymore. But yeah, so I slaved over that veggie pasta bake and then didn't even eat it last night, but my Chick-fil-A was very delicious and I'm definitely glad that I got it. So we're having the veggie pasta bake for lunch today, and I'll tell you what I did. So last I showed you, we had prepped our pasta in our dishes and our veggies and sauce and everything. So all that needed to be done was it needed to be topped with some cheese and baked. So normally I would top it with mozzarella cheese, but I was all out of mozzarella, so I just used a random like shredded cheese blend that I had of like mild cheddar and some pepper jack. Mozzarella is definitely the way to go. Also Parmesan cheese. So I'll use almost the whole package of mozzarella, just spread it all over the top, and then bake it at 350 for 30 minutes. So that's what I just did, and I will show you the finished product. So here we have the delicious veggie pasta bake. Honestly, resembles lasagna a lot. That's definitely the vibe here. Yeah, you just want to bake it for 30 minutes so that all that cheese gets melted on top and it looks delicious. I normally just use a spatula for this, kind of like you would lasagna. Here, whoops, we have it. And here you have it in all of its glory. It came out pretty messily, but that's okay. It's just nice and layered and cheesy, packed with veggies and just delicious pasta. So that is gonna be all for this video. It was continued over a couple of days. So hopefully you maybe got some new ideas for some breakfast toast you wanna make, or this veggie pasta dish. I will have all the recipes I used listed down below, or I will link them if they're already on In Home with Red, my Instagram page. It was so much fun sharing them with you guys, and I will see you next time.